going on, Spurs Nation, NBA world? You're tuning into another episode of Order on the Court Live, OOC Live, every Tuesday night, 7:30-ish, with your guys here from Order on the Court. Harrison is he's doing some he's putting together some type of shed or something for some elderly woman. He's the biggest sweetheart you can ever find. But with us today, we have Maddie from Spurs Fan Blog. What's going on, Maddie?
What's good, man? What's good?
And we also got Destin from Spurs Clan. Holler at him, Destin. What have you been up to?
Not much, man. Nothing much. I put out a song, so that was
I gotta
cool.
listen to that still.
Man.
When'd you drop that?
I dropped it today, like 2 p.m. So
Man,
yeah, I did.
love those.
Yeah, I did that. So and I actually have like 2 other ones that I'm working on, so that's gonna be fun as well. But yeah, I dropped that today. So that's all I really got going on.
Awesome, good stuff. Guys, if you're watching, thank you for tuning in. Hit the likes button, the subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the notification bell as well. Subscribe to our channel. We're very excited. Today is a big day, but we're going to take it a little slow here, and we're going to talk a little bit about our post-draft thoughts. You know, we've had some time to soak up our draft picks in our minds and kind of get ready for what's already coming in the next few weeks for the Spurs. So that's another thing that we want to talk about. We want to talk about our draft picks. We want to talk about, what do we see in front of us roster wise and lineup wise a little bit, and what maybe some of our favorites will be. And then we have a big announcement for you guys. At the end of the show, we're going to talk about what's new from OOC Live and the new show that we're putting together for y'all. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show. So stay tuned for that. First off, boys, any thoughts? Maddie, I'm gonna let you go first. What's on your mind on Devin Vassell and Trey Jones?
Yeah, well, initially, I kind of had a more of an emotional reaction. I was like, I was a little like you, Rob, the way you put it was like it was a little underwhelming, just in the sense it was like, yeah, this is probably who we thought they were gonna draft. There was no surprises, and so I was like, oh no, but I was concerned about his shooting. And that was kind of more, I went on to talk about more how that was kind of from that video of his jump shot or whatever that came on Twitter a couple weeks ago. And now I was destroyed in the comments of that video clip because apparently that video was fake. And I do know he shot about 43% or 40% from 3 in college. I mean, and I've Maddie's reaction was amazing. That's pretty good. So yeah, no, I let the pick digest. I watched some more film on him. I watched some film on Trey Jones, and I think they're good fits. I just what's interesting to me, what's going to be interesting this season, is how they're going to be incorporated into the lineup, given the fact that there's probably not going to be there's not going to be a summer league, and the training camps so sudden. And those are 2 things that are huge, and no G League either for these guys. I mean, Vassell and Trey Jones are going to be on the roster. So, what kind of impact is that going to have on these players? Are they going to be on the roster? Well, obviously, they're going to be on the roster. Are they going to be in the lineup and in the rotation from the beginning? Or, does Pop kind of want to ease them into it and, let it kind of take form over time? My personal opinion, I think Vassell has more of an opportunity to play early on, especially as we're seeing some guys are kind of banged up, like Derek White and Keldon Johnson. So there's some real opportunity there for Devin. And I think Trey Jones, I think the common guy, or the guy everyone's comparing him to, is Patty Mills, kind of like a younger version of him. I see a little bit of that. I mean, he has the size, the tenacious defense, the kind of like a Pesk. And in that way, they're similar, but I think Trey is more of a true point guard. I mean, he can put the ball on the floor better than Patty. I think he can kind of create his own shot better than Patty. And that's no disrespect to Patty Mills. I think obviously right now Patty's probably the better player overall. But I see more upside with Trey Jones. I just see him more kind of long term. I think Trey Jones can kind of work his way into the lineup as the season goes on. But from the start, I think we could see Devin Vassell early on, and then hopefully Trey Jones by the end of the season.
Destin, you talked about this a little bit on your podcast that's out right now. If you go to Order on the Court, wherever you get your podcast, Jam On, you talked about this team, and let's talk about the rookie aspect of what you feel like next year could be, but how they can contribute to what we can be next year. Your thoughts on the rookies?
Well, one thing that I think is important to keep in mind is that, like, a lot of times with players that come into the league, you can develop offense. Like, we've seen it time and time again. Players come in that don't have the best jump shot, eventually get it and become elite scorers. It's all about, mindset. Like, we've seen, obviously, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant wasn't the best shooter coming in. So like, initially I was with Maddie, like, I was kind of pissed off. I was like, man, come on, like, nothing flashy. Like, I just wanted some type of flash. And I think I was more so just frustrated from not getting any trades at all.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was more so what's led up to that. It had nothing to do with Devin Vassell. But like, after thinking about it a little bit, like, one thing, like I said, one thing that players do develop, they can develop, elite shooting and become elite scorers. But one thing that they don't develop typically is becoming an elite defender. Like, I can't really think of a player that came into the league and was an average defender that ended up being an elite defender, or was a bad defender that became a really good defender. Like, I know a lot of people kind of point at James Harden, like, he plays better defense, but it's like, he's still not a good defender. But it's something about just playing great defense that can just hold you over throughout your whole career. And that's what can make you elite, be the difference between you being a great player or all-star and being a superstar. Yeah. So, you think of Kobe, you think of, like I said, Kobe, Michael Jordan, those are prime examples. Those two guys were always good defenders, or they always put forth the effort on defense. So the fact that we got a team just full of these guys, it's a good possibility that they could develop, into being a elite scorer, and they already have the elite defense, so they're already halfway there. And you can think that way with Kawhi as well. Like, Kawhi wasn't really a great scorer, but
you got to have those tools kind of coming in. Like, you got to have those tools built in you. Like, it's hard to. I think that Spurs have figured out that it's harder to teach. It's harder to get players to want to play defense than it is to actually teach defense to a player who wants to learn how to play good defense. And I think that with these two picks, just right off the bat, I love it, man. The big picture that I took away from this after this draft is that we got better by addition by subtraction, right? We didn't do anything fancy, right? Like, we didn't make the trade, we didn't get a top 3 pick, we didn't do all of those reported moves that we were in talks to do, right? So that was why we were all a little underwhelmed on draft night. But I mean, we've been talking about it for a while that Devin Vassell is that guy for the Spurs. Like, if there's any better fit for a player and a team, it's Devin Vassell and the Spurs out of this draft. But, we lose Bryn Forbes, we lose Marco Bellinelli, and then we pick up arguably 2 of the top, 5 defenders in this draft. Trey Jones is a very highly respected defender, amongst the draft ranks, you know what I mean? So he was like one of the highest on-ball defenders at the point guard position that they had in this draft. And so, you guys compared Trey Jones to Patty Mills. Some people have compared him to Corey Joseph. And I think that we can all agree that the player comp for Trey Jones is just any backup point guard that San Antonio's had for the past 15 years. You can go George Hill, you can do Garrett Temple, you can do Corey Joseph, you can do Patty Mills. He fits the mold of all these guys that are, the high character, nothing too flashy, but does kind of everything pretty well. He's a good defender, he's a good passer, decent shooter, but I think ultimately his character and his work ethic at his position. And to me, it's a great fit. And what me is, I remember some of y'all saying that Quindary Weatherspoon, y'all like him off ball, and some of y'all compared him to Ginobili. I don't remember who it was. But this move here made me a little worried about Quindary. I'm like, man, I love Quindary too. Or why do we get another guard in the second round? Right? We just got one last year. But Trey Jones is like a true point guard type guard where he's looking to set guys up. He's a great passer. He's really efficient on the pick and roll. Whereas Quindary is great off ball. He's a good scorer. He's a good finisher at the rim. When he's attacking the rim, he's got plenty of moves in his bag. So at the end of the day, Trey Jones, I love it. I think it just makes our backcourt more competitive. And Matty, you're right, man. I think Devin Vassell is going to play year one. I don't think there's no reason for him not to. Considering his length and his IQ seems to be very capable of understanding basketball. Like he's a team basketball type guy. That's how they are at Florida State. So I feel like that's going to fit in really well with the Spurs. What do you guys think?
So you think that like who's fitting in for Bryn Forbes and Bellinelli will be Vassell and who and Trey? You think Trey gets that minute?
Well, no, I think it'll be more of Vassell and Quindary, and then like Keldon getting more minutes. If we're talking about the guard, honestly, it's Bryn Forbes not playing means that Derek White and DeJounte should start together. You know, I don't think there's any question now about who can run the point guard with the backup guys. It should be Trey Jones, Patty Mills, and Quindary Weatherspoon. All three of those guys should be able to run point with the second unit, which opens up Derek and DeJounte.
Okay, I see that the Drew show said that. Well, I'll put it right here. Pop is fake sitting White, Q, and Keldon. Is he sitting Quindary? I thought Keldon was going to be able to go. Am I wrong?
He said it was just kind of bumps and bruises, nothing serious. But he did say that they might not be ready first week. I don't. It's nothing really to, no cause for concern. It's just, making sure they're healthy. I think with Derek, he's still kind of lingering that foot surgery the foot surgery. But quick mini shout out. I mean, Cody, what's up? We see you in the chat, bro. What's going on? But also KMG Bully. He's got a new Instagram at Spurs Drip. Got some really cool content, man. So if you're on Instagram, man, hit him up. Go follow that page because he works hard. He got some good stuff. So, but yeah, it'll be an interesting first couple of weeks of the season. I mean, they're still gonna have to play around with some lineups. I mean, I got a question for you guys. I'm gonna go a little bit kind of off subject here, but this is a guy that we haven't really talked about a ton. I know, Rob, you're pretty high on this guy. I don't really know how you feel about him, Destin. I'm pretty indifferent. But it's someone that we haven't really talked about at all this offseason, and that's Luka Samanic. I'm looking at the depth chart and the front court we have. I see Trey Lyles ahead of him. I see LaMarcus Aldridge ahead of him. I see Rudy Gay ahead of him. I see Jakob Poeltl ahead of him. I mean, I don't really see a lot of playing time for him this year. And I'm not, there was some people on Spurs Twitter, I guess, earlier today saying he's a bust and this and that. I'm like, he's 20 years old, man. He's way too young to be called a bust. You can't say anyone that's played 48 NBA minutes is a bust. So I'm not saying that, but I am saying that I don't really see a legitimate place for him in the rotation for possibly a couple of years. And I know, Rob, what do you think? Because I know you're high on him.
Yeah, no, I think that he is like going to be the biggest surprise next season. That's how I feel.
Who's he going to play in front of, though?
I think that what he does and the way he's able to do it at the 4 and at the 5 and at the 3, like he's able to play the 3, the 4, and the 5, and he's able to. I think what he learned last year from being in Austin was he's got to be efficient. Every play's got to matter. Every decision's got to matter. You know what I mean? On both ends of the floor. You know what I mean? Like every effort play that you give matters. Every effort play you don't give matters. And I think that's kind of what he learned, I feel like. And at the last game of the season, I know it was a throwaway game, but he showed that he's so smart. He's like 2 steps ahead of everything. You know what I mean? And let's talk about offense first, right? Like before he catches the ball, he already knows what's happening, where the defense is shifting from, what his options are, who's the next guy open, like who's the next pass off of his pass that's open already. Should he drive? Is he gonna catch? Like he's just so smart already. Where there's a lot of like, you take out a lot of mystery, I feel like, on what he is. It's like it's very easy what he is. He's a simple catch and shoot great pick and pop player, great passer, high basketball IQ. And to me, it's just about getting that confidence. And I think he got it. I think he got that confidence last year. I'm banking on the Austin, doing a great job with him there. In the last game of the season, he looked okay. And I think the way he shoots the ball, I think is the biggest reason why I think he's going to be the biggest surprise next year, is because we're going to need somebody. Not only like are we going to want him? We're going to need somebody who can shoot the ball like he does to stretch the floor, because right now on our team there's not many guys that can do that. There's really only like Trey Lyles, there's Lonnie maybe, other than that, I don't know who, can really stretch the floor and be that consistent catch and shoot or catch and attack off a hard closeout type guy. And that's all that Luka is. Luka is not Luka Doncic, right? Where he's just going to be this guy who's going to be able to bring up the ball and like just take over games. Not until you're like 4 or 5, like what you say. Maybe he can be, because he has the IQ, he has the ability to do those things.
I think he could be like a Kristaps almost.
Yeah, or like a Kristaps. Honestly, like he compared himself to Andre Kirilenko. I feel like he can be Andre Kirilenko. Yeah, and like, dude, honestly, that's a huge get for us, is to have a player like that who's gonna. And I think he's capable of doing that next year. And I think that's why he's gonna come in and just surprise everybody, because the Spurs know that. I think this is one of those things where it's like, hey, the Spurs know something that everyone else doesn't know, and that's like the fact that Luka Samanic is going to be a key part in us being successful next season.
I've actually always been high on Luka as well, because he just has that like natural ability. It kind of reminds me of Jokic, when Jokic is on the court sometimes, where it just looks so effortless. He's I don't know, it's just something about him. But like Rob said, he does have a lot of get playing time or not. I would not worry about that, because if you're talking like next season, I mean, I'm just going to take a wild guess and say, Rudy and LA won't be there. And we're going to need that big man spot. Like, we're going to need him to play. But I saw a question. I was live earlier, and somebody asked, when it comes to Luka, should you, which we don't have a G League, but they were saying, should we send him to G League? Does he need more time to develop and whatnot? And I think he genuinely does. I don't think he's as ready as like Devin Vassell is, or Keldon is, but that's because their playing style is so much different than how Luka plays. Like, and the Luka in the position that Luka's in, he's in a very vulnerable position, being the power forward. We have an abundance amount of guards right now, but when it comes to Luka, it's going to be a spotlight on him, and fans are going to be hypercritical of him because he's going to have to get those minutes, kind of like how hypercritical they are of Jokic Poeltl. I mean, Jakob Poeltl. With Luka, man, I'm really high on him, and I think he's going to be pretty great. He's going to be a star, I think, right there with Lonnie Walker.
I think what we're underestimating, as I have nothing to back this up on, but I feel like Luka Samanic is going to be a very versatile 3. Like, when he's on the court as a 3, when he has maybe like when he's on the floor with like a Trey Lyles and a Jakob, or or something like that, where he's playing the 4 or the 3. I think at that position he's lethal, bro, because he can shoot, he can space the floor. And if they want to slide him down to the 5, like, he's smart enough knowing how to attack big men in space. You know what I mean? So I think he's gonna show up next season. He's gonna be the biggest surprise.
Do you think he's fast enough to be a small forward, to run small forward,
or laterally quick enough to guard him?
If not, he will be, because he is like, he's too, like, his frame is perfect, bro. Like, he's skinny, he's athletic, he's got bounce. You know what I mean?
No,
like, I think his lateral movement needs work. But that's like a lot of people, and I feel like I think his lateral movement looked a lot better at the end of the season versus how he played in Austin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maddie, any last thoughts on Luka before we move on?
No, I don't see a lot of minutes for him this year, but I'm not hopping off the Luka bus right just quite yet. I said from the start, man, when he got drafted, he's a long-term fit, and I'm here for the long run for him. So I'm going to give him a couple of years at least.
So who picks up the slack from in the 3-point attempt column this season, Maddie?
Man, that's a good question. I mean, Bryn and Marco accommodated for so much of that. I think naturally you're going to see it from Lonnie and Derek White. I mean, look how Derek shot in the bubble. I mean, not just efficiently, but efficiently with high volume. Shooting like 7 threes a game. I expect Derek to be a high volume 3-point shooter. I expect Keldon Johnson to increase his 3-point shot. I think he shot like 60-something% in the bubble. Obviously, he's not going to continue that high, but he's still capable. DeJounte Murray's another guy. He can shoot. Like when he had a higher volume of shots, like 3 or 4, he typically made 1 or 2. So he's shooting like 33, 50%. But it was a lot of those games where he would miss his first one, and then he had no confidence, and then he wouldn't even think about it the rest of the game. So I want DeJounte to be more aggressive from 3 and just to let that thing fly, man, because teams are still not guarding him on the perimeter. They're just not. They're daring him to shoot, and he can shoot. It's frustrating as a fan watching. It's like, dude, you got all that space. You're a point guard, man. Let that thing fly with some confidence,
Who's gonna take those threes, Dustin?
I'm saying Trey Lyles. I think Trey Lyles is going to shoot a lot of threes. I think we're going to be missing it. I think that's one thing that we are going to be missing. Like Maddie said, Derek White can shoot them. DJ can shoot them, but I mean, just being that threat or constant threat to the point where coaches are going to have to prepare for you and they play their defense a little bit differently because you're on the court. That's going to take some time, and they're going to be inconsistent enough where coaches won't have to worry about them that much. But Trey Lyles, I think, is going to take a big chunk of the threes. I think they might, do a little bit with LA when it comes to that. Lonnie Walker should maybe get
LaMarcus Aldridge too. He was Pop was talking about that earlier today too, saying LaMarcus has been working on that all summer, and he's going to adjust. Cody wants to know what's our favorite Brennan Marco memories. Oh man,
Brennan Marco. Oh, that's
Marco.
That's easy.
Marco, that one goes back to championship days with Marco, and Bryn is Denver, is a Denver playoff series.
Or I'd go for last year's Toronto home game. Bryn had like 5 or 6 threes that game, and just to do it against Kawhi in his first game back. But my personal favorite Marco memory was last year's game against the Thunder, the 18-19 season, when he had like 3 threes in a row. That game where we went off from 3. That was fun to watch. But
so I kind of agree with. Go ahead, Dustin.
Oh no, I was just gonna say Marco when he won the 3-point contest, and then Bryn Denver series game 7.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. I would just agree with both of y'all. I think it's gonna be Trey Lyles because I think naturally, that's something that is easy to ask of him. Like, hey, shoot more threes. I think he's like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. We'll run a couple more plays for you to pick and pop and whatnot to get open to your spots. But I think other than that, I don't feel comfortable asking Lonnie to shoot more threes because I feel like he's one of those streaky guys. He can make like 4 in a row, but then I feel like he's also that guy who can take 4 terrible shots in a row. You know what I mean? So it's just like I don't trust him with that yet. I feel like that has to be earned. I feel like Derek's really the only guy, like you said, Maddie, that can come in and maybe start taking more threes, him and Trey. But other than that, guys, I'm thinking it's Luka. And that's why I'm thinking, he's going to have to take like 4 a game or 5 a game next season.
I think it's gonna equal itself out as well. So, like, yes, we lost Marco and Bryn, but then we gained Vassell and Trey Jones. So, I think it's gonna kind of even itself out as far as when we go against other teams. I mean, it's not gonna be just easy for other guards to just put up crazy 3-point numbers on us. We're so well coached. Everyone is a nasty defender. So when it's all said and done, it's gonna be a grit and grind, like similar to the Memphis Grizzly days, when they were the grit and grind Grizzlies. Teams oftentimes did not put up a lot of points with them. Like at the end of the game, it was like 80-point, 90-point games. So I could see it being something like that. I think we're way better scorer than those teams were. But at the same time, even when we went against the Grizzlies in like 2011 and they beat us, we had scores but they just had such good defense and they played so nasty. So it's going to kind of even itself out. I wouldn't worry too much about who needs to shoot.
And look at one of Devin Vassell's best spots from three in college was the corner three. So look for a lot of hammer cut threes from him, similar to when we had Danny Green running those back in his prime. I mean, that was his bread and butter, man. And I think that could be Vassell's bread and butter too if he wants to be that lockdown corner three shooter.
Yeah, you see, like I'm not expecting 3.3 balls out of Vassell year one. I feel like that, like you got to earn that. You know what I mean? Like it's not if you can do it, because you might be able to do it well, but you have to earn it. And you got to earn it on the defensive side first. And I think that's where his focus will be. And he'll be getting to the rim. He'll be very much like Keldon this year offensively, where it's like, hey, nothing's being called for you. If you want to get 2 points, you better go grab a rebound and a putback or something, you know, because we're not running any plays for you. Before we move on to our next part of the show, take a look here at Order on the Court, our website, oocspurs.com. You can catch our latest blog posts here. You can also support us here. You can become an End of the Bench member. You can donate $1 for us every single month just to show your love for OOC, or you can go to $5 a month and really support us here at Order on the Court. Also, we have our shop. We're putting up more designs every day. Just put out a couple of Fiesta designs, a Thrasher type shirt here for your rock and rollers. In San Antonio, we Fiesta shirt, whatnot, all that stuff. You can go to our website and find it there at the shop or on the main page.
Get some OOC Fiesta gear for Christmas, man. What would be a better Christmas gift?
Yeah, and y'all tell us what y'all want, like on the merch side of things, because we know Fiesta's coming back in a big way this season. We want to be there for it and help you guys swag out with all that drip. So now that that's all said and done, we already kind of talked about lineups. We've talked about our post-draft thoughts. So let's go ahead and talk about what's to come here from Order on the Court, and specifically OOC Live on Tuesday nights. A lot of exciting things for you guys coming. All right. So we've been planning and working behind the scenes for a few months now. And what we've been really focusing on is delivering you guys a better show. And right, and try to give you guys the best show that we can give you. And that's our goal for this next season. Right. So OOC Live is going to go through a little bit of a change, and we're going to be just structuring our show a little bit different. Let me go ahead and show you what exactly OOC Live will consist of in the future. First off, we'll be talking about the high news topics of the day. We'll be going through our buy or sell segment, where we're going to go over some of the latest highlights in the news world when it comes to the Spurs. Then we're going to go ahead and give out some weekly awards, like Player of the Week, Teammate of the Week, Surprise of the Week, right, to our Spurs players during the season, right? This will obviously start when the season gets started. We're going to go ahead and answer a mailbag question for you guys every week. You can email oocspurs@gmail.com to submit your question with the subject mailbag, and we'll be doing that as well. Now, something that we're very excited about, right? Lastly, the new OOC Live will consist of a Spurs Trivia Royale, right? So we are going to utilize Kahoot. If you are familiar with Kahoot, I know I am. I'm a teacher, right? Maddie's familiar with it from when he's been a student. It's a very, very fun trivia game. Yeah, I know. It's so much fun, right? So what we are going to do is we're going to be starting up a Spurs trivia game every single week. We're going to post a pin here, a game pin here. All you'll have to do is go to kahoot.it. You'll type in the pin that is located right here. Use your social media tag as your username, and we're going to have some Spurs trivia contests for you every Tuesday night here at OOC Live. So all that being said, that's going to take a lot of planning, a lot more graphics, a lot more. We're just trying to up our quality here for you guys, and we're very excited. And this is all going to start probably when the preseason starts, whenever that week is, which is in about a week or 2 weeks. We'll be up and running with our new show, which we're very excited about.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited. I'm gonna make my own Kahoot. I'm gonna play alongside everybody.
Can I share a comment? Because this is so fucking funny. I think Rob said it, but he put Maddie.
I thought that too. I'm like,
even if you can make the shot, that doesn't matter. You got to earn it.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if you can shoot. You got to earn that shot.
And everyone's gonna be like Maddie with coming in with the flaming hot take again.
I gotta put that one on a t-shirt.
Yeah,
I gotta put that one on a t-shirt. Yeah, doesn't matter if you can shoot.
Rob's gonna go into the first practice this season as a coach. Like, guys, I don't care if you can shoot. You got to earn it.
You got to earn that. Hey, you got to earn those minutes. You want to shoot that ball, you got to get on the court first. You want to get on the court, you got to earn those minutes. How do you earn them? On the defensive side of the floor.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say for you though, I will say for that, I mean, the Spurs way. I mean, if you want to get in the lineup and you want to get more minutes and more opportunities, you're right, man. You do it on the defensive end, and now more than ever. And maybe this can kind of transition here into our next subject. I mean, if you're, we were like Destin, you and I were very disappointed that, the Spurs didn't make any trades. We wanted to make a deal with the Warriors. There was rumors about the Celtics, the Sixers, blah, blah, blah. And so it was just underwhelming, right? The draft day was so underwhelming. And, a lot of people were kind of disappointed with the front office. But I'm going to speak highly of them right now. They've had a very quietly good offseason. They have they've kind of opted to fix the team more internally, but they have done everything right this offseason. They know what they recognize what the problem was. They had too many one-way players. In other words, they had guys that couldn't play defense, right? They had Marco, they had Bryn, they had all these versatile players, wings on the bench, the younger guys, all the stuff we were bitching about all season. They got rid of Bryn, they got rid of Marco, they drafted two-way players in the draft with Vassell and Trey Jones. They re-signed Jakob, who was our anchor on defense. And as far as LaMarcus Aldridge and DeMar DeRozan go, they probably just didn't get the deal that they wanted, and they didn't want to sell them for pennies on the dollar. And I was having a good conversation with Damian, I forget his last name, Bartok on Twitter. We were kind of saying like, hey, worst case scenario, the Spurs aren't in the playoff picture at the deadline. They sell DeRozan and LaMarcus, Rudy for just get hella picks in a really great and loaded draft, and then they can officially reload. If they're in the playoff picture, they're in the playoff picture. I don't think anybody's going to be mad if they're in the playoffs again, So I gotta give credit where credit's due, man. The front office has had a very good offseason.
Well, go ahead, Des.
Oh, no, I was just going to say one person that you forgot that they did re-sign was Eubanks, which is actually really big because he can only get better.
On a really team-friendly deal, man. That is highway robbery.
Yeah. And when we talk about doing things like the right way, rewarding a guy who's put in that much effort into your program is doing things the right way. And and that's kind of what I felt like was the issue with Bryn this past season. It was like, we're not going to bench him. We're not going to take him out of the starting unit and all that stuff because he earned all of that opportunity. You know what I mean? And like Drew Eubanks is a humble guy who knows that, hey man, if he's not with the Spurs, his basketball playing days in the NBA might not be that long. There's not a lot of other teams out there that are looking for his services. In other words, you know what I mean? Like today's NBA. So him, being a team-friendly guy, accepting the deal that he did, we all know that he's probably our best teammate, you know what I mean? Like out there on the court. And that's because he was in Austin half the time, you know what I mean? And he was still known as one of our best teammates, right? Like on the Spurs roster, right? So that just goes to show you that. And then he proved in the bubble that he's able to bang with the big boys, with some of the all-star big boys in the league. So he earned it. And like you said, Destin, I think that was huge. That was huge for the Spurs. I think Cody asked about, or who was it? No, Eagle, my boy Eagle. It's like, what do y'all think about Keita Bates' job?
I didn't know who that was. I saw people.
I mean, you and Harrison were pretty high on him. I looked at him, the frame he's got. He's a big dude. I mean, seems to be some potential there, but I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I see two-way contract, and I just automatically turn off. Like I don't know the last time
Yeah,
Like honestly, I can't think of the last time we had, you know, 2-way contract and it turned into something.
Harrison sees a
That's true.
2-way contract and he writes a 15-page scouting report on the guy. So, me, I'm like, bro, just hey, let's see what he can do when he's with the team in San Antonio. Harrison writes a hit piece in the New York Times or the San Antonio Express on why he's going to be the next Boris Diaw in 5 years.
Yeah. He's got a lot of potential. Like he's got that body, like that guy who can be an elite defender type body. But I mean, he hasn't been able to cut it with like 2 teams already. I'm sure there's a reason for that. We'll see how he does with us. Let me see. I think Cody was the one who asked us earlier about our watch parties. All right. So any watch parties coming up. So yes, we talked about OOC Live a little bit and how we're going to try to make that an interactive show for you guys where we go through our buy and sell segments, our mailbag questions. We give out some awards. We're going to do a Spurs trivia game every week at the end. But we also have our watch parties and our after the buzzer shows that are going to be kicking off when the season starts as well. We're planning right now to do at least 2 watch parties a month and at least 2 to 4 after the buzzer post-game shows a month too. So it's not going to be after every game. We're not going to have a watch party for every game like we did in the bubble. That was just because we only had 8, right? And we're like, okay, we're gonna try to do all 8, right? So we're looking at a 72 game schedule this season at least. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So there's gonna be more information about how you guys can vote on which games that we do content for, watch parties after the buzzers and all that stuff. And specifically, I think more towards our 6 men and our end of the bench members will be able to decide that type of stuff. So if you want to decide on what games we do watch parties for, go ahead and shoot over to OOCspurs.com, become a 6-man member. But yeah, so we're focusing on our website, OOCspurs.com this season, and we're also focusing on our video content for you guys, right? That's the priority from us to y'all. And at the very minimum, we're going to try to get our OOC live show every Tuesday night better for you guys on a week-to-week basis. And then just be here for you guys to chant Go Spurs Go. Anything else, guys, before we go?
No, go ahead, Destin.
No, I was going to say, I think you kind of hit everything. This is going to be a really exciting season coming up. It's just so cool to be able to do this, talk about stuff that we love, this team, even the city, even though me and Maddie don't live in San Antonio or Harrison, like we all love the city as well. So just like giving back, it's so awesome. And yeah, we're excited. We're excited for the upcoming season for sure.
We're having talks of a potential OOC Spurs meetup in San Antonio post-COVID. So that may be a little while, but that might be in the works in a couple of years too. But no, Cody, Clan's song just came out, brother. We talked about that at the beginning. Go to Clan the Spurs fans YouTube page.
This right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on there. It's on there.
I better go watch it. It is. But no, yeah. No, you get all the biggest things, Rob. Good stuff.
All right, guys. So Spurs Nation, thank you for hanging out. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share our video, share this post. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, big things coming this season from Order on the Court. We appreciate y'all. I'm Rob from @Spurs Film Room. Destin, why don't you tell everybody where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Spurs Clan, or you can find me on YouTube, Clan the Spurs Fan.
Awesome. Maddie, why don't you tell everyone what you got going on?
As always, I'm on Instagram @SpursFanBlog, but now I got a Twitter.
Hey.
I got a Twitter account. I'm on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter @SpursFanBlog. I'm actually starting to be a little more active on there too. So I got almost 100 followers already, man. So go hit me up on Twitter.
All right, guys. So just to give you a little preview of our new intro, we're gonna do that right now. So we'll catch you guys next week. Go Spurs, go! Destin, you got a gavel for us?
Oh crap! Where's my gavel?
You have one job, man.
Oh wait, I got it. Court is adjourned. There we go.